Well, good evening. Welcome to the audience with the Lord Choloply. Tonight in a house with me, I have Linfo Ako going from Norway and Mark the Great Five from Sweden. Gentlemen, good evening.
Well, good evening, Matt and Paul. It's good to be here tonight on this Sunday evening, and it's a pleasure.
It is indeed, it is a pleasure to be here on a Sunday. And today, this is a holy day in the Christian calendar. Sunday is what people worship. And also today is Mother's Day around the world. So I want to say happy Mother's Day to all our mothers in the world for looking after all and giving all life. What say you, my dear brother Linford, before we play some musical break?
Well, like you said, today, I think the best we can offer our mothers, you know, um, for giving us life. Imagine the population of the world is around a little or 6 million people as of the last time I checked, not too long ago. So imagine 6 million people. It was it 6 million? No, I think six
Says
billion.
billion. What are you
Six
talking?
billion, yeah,
Billion.
6 billion people. So everybody was born by a woman. Can you imagine? So I think women, if for me, uh, looking at it religious wise, I would say women are the God that we talk about because they resuscitate us. We die, one person died today, maybe another person will be born. And imagine that without women, if God creating every day, God will be creating, he will not rest. He will just be creating because people dying and people got to be born. But since I was born, I haven't seen anybody who was created. All the people I see, they were born by women. So I want to say happy Mother's Day to our moms. And for those of you who are still lucky to have your moms alive, do the best you can do for them because those of us who have lost ours, it's so sad, it's so hard that you cannot see them anymore. But you always remember wherever they are. So it's great to have this Mother's Day, and we hope all mothers will also know that we, the children, are loving them. And sometimes it may not be visible, we may not show the love visibly, but we love you somehow in our hearts.
Yeah, that's true. And Mark, welcome to the audience with the Lord Children. Today is Mother's Day. We want to say shout out to all the mothers in the world. Without them, we wouldn't have been on this planet Earth. What say you, my dear brother?
Yeah, for me, I respect every mother, but I'm in a position that I won't say Happy Day when a lot of young babies are dying in Palestine, when a lot of mothers are dying in Palestine, when a lot of grandmothers are dying in Palestine, and the rest of the mothers of the world are saying nothing. There's no massive protest across the globe. When a young girl child, a baby girl child, is being born in Palestine, and the mother is holding her dead child in her arms, and etc. and etc. And it's on a day-to-day basis. So how can I say Happy Mother's Day? So I'll be very hypocritical to say Happy Mother's Day to those that are enjoying their children and feel privileged or blessed to see their children alive and extending Mother's Day to them. I got nothing against, someone individual saying Mother's Day, but for me, it's so heartening that hard for me that to say Mother's Day to women across the globe in general. That's how I feel about it. Until
Okay.
all women can stand up towards what is going on in Palestine and say enough is enough and protest towards that, then I would say Happy Mother Day in the next coming years or so. Thank you.
It's okay. Well, so before we take our musical break, I just want to say today I'm very much delighted of what have happened to my beloved team Arsenal. My team won today, so there are two games to win and become champions. So I'm very, very happy today. And
I didn't watch it. I didn't see the game. Who was that? Who did we play?
we play
What's
West Ham
up?
today, and
Oh, yes, I was
it was
worried about West
a
Ham.
cracking
I was
game.
worried.
And West Ham, yeah, they scored a goal in the end, but the goal was disallowed because they were foul on the goalkeeper. Man, it was nerve breaking. I'm not lying to you. The game was tense. So Arsenal, two steps of being champion. So we're looking forward to the next home game. We'll get one of the teams that already relegated at the Emirates. So it should be probably, because we don't know. The last game is Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is a big tricky team to play. So
Yeah,
if we
they're
keep
very,
them
yeah,
play with good goals, and then even we draw with Crystal Palace, it will come to what we call
goal difference.
goal difference. So at the moment, Arsenal got two goal difference ahead of City, and City is also on fire. So I'm looking forward to the Premier
And
League, and the last game will be closer to my house, Arsenal and Crystal Palace. When Arsenal beat Crystal Palace that day, the trophy will be given to them closer to my house. So I'm getting excited every minute. So Mark, although you don't support Arsenal, but for 22 years now, we have not won it, and it getting closer. I don't know what you say. What your take before we go to the musical
no, but
bit?
I think at this time I got to support us more.
No, for me, I'm supporting Arsenal because Guardiola has been torn in the flesh of all Premier League teams since Jose Mourinho left, and so I'm happy for Arteta also as a student of Guardiola. So, and then two, I mean, as a supporter of Real Madrid, I would love to see Arsenal win this Premier League and also the Champions League.
Yeah, and the talking about the Champions League, Mike. I watched the semi-final between PSG and Atletico. Atletico that gave Arsenal hard time in that final in the other game they play for them to perform that way, but the game was good, and I think PSG is on fire, and so Arsenal should do very well. But then the problem is with these double games on their hands. I don't know how it's going to be because they'll be playing Crystal Palace, and then at the same time, I think on the 27th will be the final for the UEFA. So I think Mark Arteta has to work overtime. They really, really have to work overtime because when you reach this stage, I remember at a certain point you reach and you got a lot of things to do. You just give it yourself. I remember when I was graduating from high school, I had 1 week. That same week I was doing my school exam. Then I was going to take early entrance and something else I was supposed to do. Yeah, three different people exams. So I decided, well, I will not study nothing. I'll just go the one I'll kind of and I survived it. So Arsenal should just put themselves in the game that we're going to play and play your best. That's what I can.
The good thing with Arsenal is that there's no big name on the team. So
Yes.
that's a good thing with Arsenal. So everybody is 50-50. So those boys, they're going to give it their best against PSG. And PSG going to come well looking. Arsenal, for me, I said that the winner between Atletico and Arsenal will win this Champions League.
Yeah. And no, what happened here, I think Arsenal on the last day, as you said, Crystal Palace have also qualified for the UEFA Conference League. So they will be playing before Arsenal. So they will not want to feed their key players. So this will advantage Arsenal on the last day. Because after the UEFA, the last one will be the Champions League final. So I think there'll be like a week or two in between before Arsenal meet PSG. So that's how I see it. So I think it'll be good. But let's take a quick musical break while we share the show. And then when we come back to them, we'll be telling our audience the discussion for tonight. And we can then all have a good say. So in Liberia, we say the loud to us. So we'll play our national anthem on this program.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber. Stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know y'all sleeping now, yeah? gotta wake up small, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to beat? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not to corrupt. No one to trust. My people, no one to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then stay they delay. People suffer. No work, but people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go corrupt. With the promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to beat? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us. You screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie.
Good evening and welcome to the audience with the Lord Choloply. With me today, I have my good friend Linford from Norway and Mark 5 from Sweden. Mark, you want to adjust yourself a little bit so we can see your face? Yeah, that's much better. So we are in a house, and to those our mothers that are out there want to say Happy Mother's Day and kindly share the show. Tonight we'll be looking at a few things in Liberia, and we'll be looking at Also, the border issue between Liberia and Guinea. These stories have not gone away yet. We'll be addressing it tonight. So if you joining us for the first time, I want to say, kindly share the show. This is the audience with the Lord Choloply. I want to welcome Mark and Linford to greet our audience, and then we can start. Brother Mark?
Yeah, I want to say hi to everyone. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And today's the first day of the week, and wishing everyone a blessed new week. Thank you.
Thank you. Linford?
Well, let me say welcome to all of you that are watching us. We want to say it's a pleasure to be here, and when you are here, then we are happy, and when you are there, we are also happy because that's a conversation together. So we want to say thank you, and for those of you who are women, I see Beatrice Churpley and Chadra Brown Churpley. Those are the first two women that have, and Tuan Gray. Those are the first three women that I've seen log on. We want to wish you all happy Mother's Day, and we hope you can help us to share the show to your various contacts. Thank you.
Yeah, and for those of you that are watching us also on YouTube, because we can't see you, you can just do a thumbs or something or make a comment so we can recognize you as well. So today we'll be looking at the situation in Liberia. What we're going to start with Mama Liberia. And this issue with Mama Liberia is quite interesting. It's regarding this guy, the former finance minister Samuel Toure. This guy, he was acquitted by the jury in Liberia. So we'll be looking at Samuel Toure today. And we'll also be looking at the border issue. This will be quite interesting. If you look at this map, the map of Liberia keenly, and you see the orange dotted line in it, those places were originally owned by Liberia. But then how come the French people took it and gave it to Africans and Guinea? We'll be looking at it. And the question here tonight would be the border issue with Guinea. That issue have not been addressed yet. So we want to know what's going on. Are they going to cut piece of Lofa and give it to Guinea again? So those are the discussion. But we're going to start with Samuel Toure. Linford, I want you to take us through this that is on the screen regarding the charges against Samuel Toure. If you look at it, yeah.
Yeah, and from what I see here, it says former finance minister, former finance and development planning minister Samuel D. Toure Jr. Has been acquitted of all 5 charges in the high-profile corruption case filed by the government of Liberia. Criminal Court C dismissed the charges and returned a not guilty verdict against Toure. Now, the charges that we're talking about, the 5 charges, include economic sabotage, theft of property, money laundering, criminal conspiracy, and criminal facilitation. The case centered on the alleged mismanagement of 6.2 million American dollars in national security funds during the 2023 elections period. Toure is one of the 5 former officials charged in the case. Co-defendant Jefferson Comore was earlier found guilty of criminal facilitation but acquitted on the other counts. So that's it.
So, but before we dive into the discussion, I want to play the video what Darren Taylor said, then we can start a conversation from there, because this is quite interesting to find out. Then we'll listen to this 1 minute, 8-second video from Darren Taylor.
I made reference to my being at Blessed Ministry. I was trying to say something. You can go to court and win case by your feelings or sentiment. Nobody that go to court say, I feel that they messed up for me. That feeling you carry to court, it can win. How you feel about a person, it can win case. Evidence proven beyond reasonable doubt, especially in criminal case. That one can win case. That one can convict people. Let me repeat. I know you're looking at your time. Myself will extend the time small. Because me, I like to converse, have that kind of conversation. Anytime people carry feelings to court, or partisan mandate, or how you feel about the person, or your sentiment perception, you can win case. That evidence.
So the discussion here is going to be from what Darren Dillon said and the charges that were brought against Samuel Tuer. Brother Mark, you listened to the video and you Linford read the charges that he was acquitted of. And in our discussion, we have to consider something. It was based on national security issue. And in Liberia, anything have to do with national security, it cannot be audited. So the government brought all of the 5 charges against Samuel Tuer. And the jury saw in their own wisdom that there was no case against Samuel Tuer. He was acquitted. But one person was charged for one count. So talk to me, Brother Matt, and then I'll go to Linford.
Which was account? Yeah, I'm okay.
All right.
And which was account? Because I didn't follow the person being convicted of. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, he was Jefferson Camo, who was
Camo, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the question to me? I had a call coming in.
Right. The thing I say, you listen, if you follow from the charges and what Darren Dillon said in his little video. So regarding to the case, he said, if you want me to play the Darren Dillon video again so we can listen. Okay.
I'll listen
so
to that part.
The government brought charges, but then the jury saw no evidence in the case. He was acquitted. What say you?
Yeah, for me, Brother Paul, the whole thing about Liberia is that how did we get here is one question that needs to be asked, right? Because this whole case was based on the accusation from the public and two mismanagement of the map of exercise and money printer, and it was a lot from the first year of the WIA administration. So, but boy, it's hard to describe the whole entire situation because before a prosecutor go to court, he must gather all his facts. You understand? All his evidence together before going to court. And if you are the chief prosecutor of the country going to court against the finance minister without doing your research as to what they went to court like 2 or 3 different times, and until the issue of national security came about. So, what is national security, and how come national security got attached to the whole thing? So, it's the part I don't understand. And when you talk about, and then some try to connect the president, and if you connect the president, it connect national security. So, in the national security under the Liberian, I don't know, national security Act or the Constitution, the president cannot be investigated. The president cannot be found guilty of any wrongdoing. And the finance minister was acting underneath that particular act. So because of that, you can find him guilty. And then to the public, yeah, I will come to that later on, but that's how I feel about the whole thing. And the same Darius Dillon, these are people that were influencing the public that Samuel Tuer was corrupt, Samuel Tuer was embezzling, Samuel Tuer, but there were a lot of areas that the prosecutor could have built a better case against Samuel Tuer, like the map exercise. that was an era they could have built a better case against Samuel Tuet, because you cannot give 25 million US dollar to people to inject into the how they call it economy, and you say it's done on a piece of paper. Yeah, that was an area I believe the prosecutor didn't do a good job.
Well, Linford, let's come to you. You listen to, you read it, the indictment, and you also listen to Darrell's law. So, what your take on it?
Um, I don't know. I don't know what position this guy holds. This Jefferson Common guy, but I don't know which position he held in the past government, because I know he's not in this government. But uh, looking at the case, or looking at the indictment, or the charges levied against or Samuel Tuer, I think a high-profile minister like him, finance minister, those charges, in my view, was very light. In terms of criminal facilitation, and there was no real case built, like Mark said, where, because in my view, in the areas that I would have held Samuel Tuer responsible was when he physically admitted taking money to exchange, where he even pointed out when the pressure rised him before, he even pointed out some of the areas where they took money to exchange. Those were real, evidence. But you talk about criminal facilitation, who did he facilitate? And
Yeah, money laundering, all the
yeah,
stuff.
money laundering, all these things. I think they were very light, because money laundering case, you have to present hardcore facts that this money was taken here and it was exchanged in some minerals and then transferred later on to another bank in somebody's name to purchase something, because money laundering, you can't, it's not just something you can find out very fast like that. That's why, and I think what Darrell Dillon said, Darrell Dillon is an insider of this government. And what he said is very important. That could be some of the premise upon which the juror made a decision. Because Samuel Tuer, I was seeing argument with some Unity Party people on their own post. They are regretting that Samuel Tuer was not convicted. This Samuel Tuer, when he came, he was abroad. When he came, right at the airport, in the minds of most of the Unity Party people, he was already guilty. All they needed to do was grab him and go jail him. That's why they were running away all around the place. So one would have thought that this guy had actual case against Samuel Tuer that is convincing, that even the judge didn't need juror to make a decision. Then only to find out that this case went to court. I mean, or they went temporarily to court. They came back. Samuel Tuer was free, and then for them to go set trap for him on a Friday, that he will be probably taken to jail, and then to wait there until he comes by the next week before the case starts, and, he was acquitted. So they are all disappointed. And they were using their feelings, like what Darrell Dillon said. They were using their feeling. Oh, yeah, we feel that he stole because you're a finance minister. He took part in the money. If such money was actually mismanaged, he took part inside because he's finance minister. He the one should have approved of it. And these are the kind of feeling they were having. They were not having actual fights. But again, like I told you guys a story. I told you guys a story the last time.
And most especially when you up against a skillful lawyer like Arthur Johnson.
Arthur Johnson.
Yeah.
You see, so I told you, if you want to kill the chicken right in front of you, but when your heart cut on the chicken, you can miss that chicken. You see, so 12 was available. And trust me, Mark and Paul, 12 had left this country and gone. Oh man, the United Party people have convicted him already. Oh, he stole the money, now he ran away. But 12 told them, I'll remain here. You all bring your evidence, let's go to court. And now 12 is not convicted, because I can tell you that in that whole case, the 5 people that were charged, in that whole case, the biggest fish they wanted was 12. But when 12 left the hook, the rest of the people, they are nominal. So they're not running with their names. 12. Okay, you took a case to court. 12 did not defend himself, or 12 did not deny you. You went to court. You presented your evidence to a evidence. And the people look at it and say, 12 Tour was not confident. So why you crying all over the place? I mean, when you thought they so oh that all of your parking tour and that you're encouraging people to stay. When tour steal money, what do I get? I'm working here like one Hebrew slave, trying to get my living. Then I don't want to go past somebody who will steal $6.2 million that I'm not even getting $10 off. But the process, in as much as you want to see this person convicted, be prepared to present convincing evidence against him, because okay, maybe they will say go to the Supreme Court. So let's wait and see what will happen. But I just want to tell the people who, when some of us make certain statements, some people say, "Oh, that you're backing him." Why would I back a 12 who I have not seen with my eye before? I'm not. I don't think I've reached that level of craziness to be backing somebody who will steal my country's money that I don't even know him and backing for what reason. But again, our people, they look at things from the surface, and Darrell Dillon, I commend him for the particular statement. Do not use your feeling in case to think that you will win. Use evidence. Thank you so much.
And I tend to agree with you, Linford, with Darrell Dillon as well. You cannot just go with the thing because the lads that were told that Samuel Twe had mansions in Ivory Coast, he had all of this, he used the government money. Now, the 2023 election, because that's what they based their argument on, say he used $6.2 million that went towards the national security for the election. So they claim that that money, he I think they were after George Weah here. If you look at it, if they get Samuel Tue, then they will go after the other people to embarrass them. So that was the intent. But now if you telling somebody, say, look, I'm going to charge you for money laundering, and that was a big word. You know what does that mean? So it means that Samuel Stewart took money, he sent it all over, I mean, offshore account, and the way the money was, I mean, it's a big charge. And so money laundering, I mean, you bring in some, how they call it, you got to wash the
Drug
money,
people,
drug
because you
people
know
all involved.
yeah, that
Yeah.
particular, if you laundering money, it will not be the physical cash. You got to convert it to goods. Then it goes somewhere, it turns to money again. You sell it in different person account, all kind of thing connecting to criminal activities, you know. But yeah, I think Matt was in flight to say something.
Yeah, Mark, go on.
No, what I wanted to say is that the prosecutor and his whole team, they didn't do a good job, and it's an embarrassment to this government because they should have taken, for example, if they wanted to have gone after the finance ministry, where most of the whole hala hala started on the George Weah government, because money were being used from the finance ministry here and there without proper, I mean, how they call this, accountability to the Liberian people. And when Samuel Twe, on few occasions, he was sent for by the then legislature or legislators and refused on few occasions out of arrogance until there were a few attempts made that if he doesn't appear, if I recall rightfully, he will be arrested or he'll be held for contempt. So if you go after such person, you should set up a team, a network of investigation, investigating Samuel for almost putting your paperwork together for about 2 years, bringing skillful investigator, forensic team to do forensic of the whole entire finance ministry under Samuel Tue. And when that work is done, and you bring other, I mean, financial, legal financial expert to cook the book for you and to know where the wrongs were done. Then before you say, okay, we have a case or we don't have a case, and you don't have a case, you spare the government the embarrassment instead of going to court, and you don't have a case knowing yourself. And the sentiment that they don't talk about is, oh, I feel like, or we feel like, and, the kind of you call yourself a lawyer and you go to court based on sentiment. It doesn't add up at all. So I think at the end of the day, this how they call this uh, prosecutor will be asked to resign, or the justice minister. I think their whole team will be asked to resign if the president want to save himself. But then two again going after if they want to do the rightful thing, which the whole thing will politicize, then they will be seen as okay, red meat also to the opposition. Yeah.
Right. So I want us to look at the guy that was convicted in this case. It's quite interesting because Samuel 12 was the one that disbursed the money. And the guy that were the people that were charged. I try to understand it from so I try to if you look underneath the Linford, the guy that were convicted, right, in the whole thing, the Jefferson Camille, right? He was charged for what?
Criminal
You see?
facilitation.
Yes, exactly. So how the mean man in the room were let out, but it's the other guy, he was charged. So I kind of I don't know about the legal thing, but I get
Yeah,
confused.
and here to had that particular crime in common, criminal
Yes.
facilitation.
Uh-huh. So
Yeah, 12 were
here,
also accused of the same crime. So
exact.
how did the court or the juror come to that conclusion that was some
And who did they
criminal
facilitate?
facilitation, and who did they facilitate, and then two, how could Twe get off the hook like just like that? Yeah.
Quite interesting. You see,
And
and I'll try to.
there is this of viewer who posed this question. How when Ma said that it is an embarrassment to the government, and she's asking how is it embarrassing or embarrassment when we all know that they stole. Now you see, this is where Liberian will always make, let me tell you, nobody is guilty in the eyes of the law until proven guilty. You can see somebody standing on Broad Street cutting the person through the blood all on him. You think he's guilty? He's not guilty. The law is the one that will make him guilty, providing
So,
proofs that he did it.
Linford, she asked a very
Yeah.
good question,
No,
and
yeah, I'm
if it
just I'm
if
just
it
trying to let her know that sometimes it will appear that yes, what we're saying here is not on making a decision. The decision has already been taken, but we are yet discussing. I know that we
Linford,
all know that
you
toilet store.
remember,
Everybody in that government store.
Linford, yeah, that way
Yeah.
you need to prove on paper. That's the embarrassing part. That way
Yes.
you should approve on paper as a chief prosecutor. You should approve on paper. For example, okay, Mark, $2 million was given to you to go and inject into the market so that investors have foreign exchange to be able to do import. How was that money injected into the market? Then I say, oh, I gave the money to John Brown, and John Brown, when he take culpable, and they were you writing people's name, and that culpable, when you brought a culpable, if I'm the prosecutor now, going to present my case, where are the list of those people before going to court? First of all, go to what Samuel said from the time he been accused, he been called before the Senate. Everything that Samuel said, document them and go through them step by step and try to find where Samuel went wrong. What did he say wrong? What did he present to the Labyrinth wrong? Because you know this guy, he went on talk show, he went on Spoon, and he was a good talker that make a lot of errors in his talking. You understand? So you bring all those tips, if possible, if you buy those tips from the talk show uh, networks that he went on, buy those tips, go through the tips, bring independent, how to call it, outside forensics, pay them, and how to call it, go through those things. They were the blunder link for honestly speaking.
Yeah.
We
And to
always
add to
knew
what you
that.
said, Paul,
Because if we go on feelings to say, oh, we always knew he stole, but how did he steal? How?
you see, and it's a good point you made, Mark. And to add on to where the government also blunder, you see, what can they do to again unless they go to the Supreme Court where they got their own men sitting, and probably the Supreme Court might reverse the decision of the criminal court say. But you know, when Twe is acquitted, he's acquitted. So the government is embarrassed. What can you do again? So they'll just go and cry all in the corner. Well, we all know. All the example he gave me about the rest, we all know. But if you don't do the right thing to convey the message, what can we do? We are not a law. So there is a same feeling that Darrell Dillon was talking about. That's a sentiment that we're expressing. Oh, the man stole the money, but they could acquit him. Hell, yes, they could acquit him because the prosecutor did not provide enough evidence. And the court is the law is for everybody. The law not you inject feeling because every decision the law makes is based on evidence. Okay.
So, gentlemen, there's something I did mention here about the national security situation. I listened to Samuel Tour when he appeared on Spoon Network and he talked about the national security because anything concerning national security, nobody can question. You can't audit them. So how come this man gave the money request from the president? The president requested the money based on national security. So how come now that the money was requested for national security, you're going to hold him on such money? You see, because you cannot do the auditing on them. So how did you gather your information, your facts finding on Samuel Twe? So all along, I think go back to what Darrell Dillon said. It's like, from what people are saying, the people stole money. Of course, they stole money, but they must be able to trace where the money went. If you cannot show concrete evidence, the guy go free. It's like a murder case. You can shoot somebody plain blank, right? You can be acquitted. So
but Paul, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Darrell Dillon appeared before the legislators or legislature on a couple of occasions, and he never quoted this National Security Act and provision in the law until now. And you understand, going to court, then the national security, how they call it, a provision part of the law start to take place. So these are things that places that the how they call it, prosecutor should have asked some of these questions. Why is it he never told the lawmakers at that time? Okay, he was acting based on the order of the president, which was acting upon which was acting on national security. You understand? Based on the order of national security. So there were a lot of,
I can assure you guys, on the show tonight that, you see, I think they're taking it item by item. The first one they wanted to grab 12 on is this $6.2 million. And they know fully well, the government knows that if that money indeed was requested in the name of national security and it was disbursed, approved, and sent, if they go, whether they waste it on Broad Street, they divide on Broad Street, and national security, you can't investigate that one because it's on our law, it's on our book. So I think they finish getting rid of that one. 12 is acquitted. They will go
for the sake of our audience that just joined, because there's a question there. Somebody asked if Darrell Dillon can be trusted. It's not being trusted. I want you to kind of take us through the charges, and then I will play the Darrell Dillon video for our audience. So read this off for me, please.
Okay. It's saying that former Finance, Development, and Planning Minister Samuel D. Twe Jr. has been acquitted of all the 5 charges in the high-profile corruption case filed by the government of Liberia. Criminal Court C dismissed the charges and returned a not guilty verdict against Twe. The charges include economic sabotage, theft of property, money laundering, criminal conspiracy, criminal facilitation. The case centered on the alleged mismanagement of $6.2 million in national security funds during the 2023 elections period. Twe is one of 5 former officials charged in the case. Co-defendant Jefferson Common was earlier found guilty of criminal facilitation but acquitted on the other charges. So you see, Jefferson Kamau, I think he was also charged with the 5 different ones, but he was acquitted. He was only found guilty of one, which is criminal facilitation. Okay, yeah. So that was it. Those are the charges that we're talking about here. If you get joining us.
Okay, then let's listen to Darius DeLong, so our audience can
I made
follow
reference
us
to
on
my
this.
being at Blessed Ministry. I was trying to say something. You can't go to court and win case by your feelings or sentiment. Nobody now go to court say I feel that they messed up for me. That feeling you carry to court, it can't win. How you feel about the person, it can't win case. Evidence proven beyond reasonable doubt, especially in criminal case. That one can win case. That one can convict people. Let me repeat. I know you look at your time. Myself will extend the time small. Because me, I like to converse, have that kind of conversation. Anytime people carry feelings to court, or partisan mandate, or how you feel about the person, or your sentiment perception, you can win case. The evidence.
Right.
That,
So
that,
Lincoln,
that is doing the
you're in
thing
flat
clearly.
before, you're in flat before we decide so flow.
Yeah, no, I was saying that, you know, this is just the beginning. The $6.2 million. And trust me, there are other cases that they will file again against Tue. But my question is, will they be prepared enough to provide convincing evidence? Is it not going to be the same scenario with this present one? Because I see this viewer is keep mentioning some examples that the money from the World Bank, and then you're talking about, I think that was the around the COVID-19 time, and then you're talking about also another money, the COVID-19 money, and then World Bank case. Of course, World Bank always giving money. But the question is, does the prosecution have, those documents? And guess what? You're judging former government officials, and this guy knew in their mind that they were not doing things right. And when they leave, at one point, they may want to, prosecute them. So they may have destroyed a lot of evidence. For you to trace them, it will not be very easy. I know these guys were not just sitting and sleeping. So the same way the security is worse and hunting than the criminal is even worse than the security. I mean, look at that in security science. They will tell you the criminal is one step ahead of the security. Okay, so you think if these guys were actually stealing, like we all alleging, and so now we're using sentiments as well. Okay, because I mean, look at Nathaniel McGay, who was living like Costa said, he and the frog then were neighbor. After a few years, the boy became rich. He bought $250,000 house. Then he paved the road from a house to the main road, and he built I know mausoleum for his late mother, may also rest in peace, and all this kind of thing. So people begin to raise eyebrows and ask questions, which is normal in a society like Liberia. Okay, so we know what happened, but to catch them, we must provide proof because we're using law. You see, we're using law. We honor the law. If it was a military government, okay, look at the 13 government officials that they executed. The judgment was very simple. You're a government official, you're a minister of finance, right? Okay, how long you were there for? Why all you did? 2, 3, 4 questions were enough to convict you. Because they were not, the constitution was suspended. They were using their own law.
In a serious
Yeah.
country, on a serious note, what is this? What was the salary of Nathaniel McGay, for which he acquired all the properties that he has today? What was the property? What was the salary of Samuel Tue?
Those are
Former
the
government,
evidence. Those are
former
that
government
you
officials
correctly said
in
from the beginning.
Liberia, for example, from the early administration time. So if Liberia was a serious country, the real people that are supposed to be sitting in prison today are some former government official. I won't say all. Yes, some former government official. The prison would have been really, really, how to call it, packed with a lot of thieves.
contested, you know. Yeah,
So,
I
but
mean, Mike was saying the same thing.
Linford, this is quite interesting. I want you to chime in on this one.
Mhm.
The past government, Honor
But
Ellen,
yeah, Paul, you're asking question if people like Dillon can be trusted. And I think the question came from someone.
yeah, it came from the lady, but the thing is, it's not about he being trusted, it's what he's saying. And
Yeah,
what
it's
he's
what he's
saying, it
saying.
makes a lot of sense.
It
That
makes a lot
because
of sense.
you remember he worked with
Yeah, but
with
based
the
on what he's saying too, also they also have to how to call it pump I mean how to call it stage the protest. It was all based on feelings. They felt that Samuel was too.
yeah.
They felt that
So
Samuel
what
was
what
mismanaged. So Dylan
what
people
what
are dealing without evidence. They can be
No,
trusted too.
let me tell you, the statement Dylan making, you know, it's coming out of frustration that his own people, everybody felt that 2S2, we all know, everybody know, but
Exactly.
that his own people will go to court without evidence. You
that's
see
the
Yeah.
it?
point.
So the point he's making, not that he's actually siding with 2S, but he's saying, I mean, you should have done your work. You prosecution should have done your work before going. So they are all embarrassed. I'm telling you, they all are
And
Yeah.
embarrassed.
you are government, you sitting, all the document is in your hands,
Right.
everything you holding it, and you cannot come up with evidence onto it. That means you're not serious. That's what Darrell Dillon is saying to the government. You're not serious because you're in the position, you have access to everything, and then you cannot find him guilty. That means something not right. Look, it's almost like what Darrell Dillon is saying is like a witch hunt. If you will say if unpopular sentiment is based on witch hunt because you cannot find evidence. Look at the Capitol building situation. 2 years on, they came up with a long thing that people that were asked, still they cannot bring these people. They started that thing before Samuel 12. Today, they still have that case hanging because no
I think
evidence.
to a point where
This is
the asset recovery thing can I even grab one? But, you know, people, that's
yeah,
serious.
that is the fact. The seriousness is not there. And this is
But
why,
Or
it
they
should
just don't
tell
know what
you
to
that.
do.
Exactly, the way I was going, it should tell you that the whole entire team, the asset recovery team, they had a call it said the chief prosecutor of the country. These are people that just don't know what to do.
yeah. So this is quite interesting. But the guys, but Lidford, I wanted to bring this out. If you have the past government under Ellen, that Ellen took responsibility of the corruption under her. That government, Joseph Barker was in that government, the most corrupt government. Now, fast forward, George Weah came to power. He refused to act on what Ellen did. Joseph Barker come to power. He decided to act on George Weah in a way. But then the funny thing is, you want to act on that government, you started stealing. So how can a thief investigate a thief? This is the situation that they face with. So and me, we're going nowhere. This,
You reminded me. I think it was on this program we discussed the same thing yesterday, right, on Friday, right, where I said you cannot get a thief to go hunt down another thief. It's just quite impossible.
And
You
that is
know,
why I say Liberia when it comes to our democracy or the system that is governing the country is just not a serious system. And the Liberian people need to wake up because they are the employer. Yeah, they are the employer, and their employees are misbehaving. And Liberian people should not, their decision should not be influenced by somebody who sit on the, because most of the decision our people make in electing the next government is based on most of it is based on what they hear from talk show. Oh, they say, oh, the talk show say, oh, the talk show say. But they themselves to put one and two together and say, okay, this doesn't add up, this doesn't add up. You don't need to have a university degree to know that, oh, yeah, the country economy is in a bad shape. You don't need to have a university degree to know that, oh, yeah, there are not new companies coming to the country. You don't need to have a university degree to process one or two things that Why is it that we don't have good drinking water? Why is it that we don't have electricity? So these things are things that are supposed to influence your decision, but not some, how they call it, yeah.
Right. So, gentlemen, and to our audience, welcome to the audience with the Lord Choloply. Today, we're discussing Liberia, the case with Samuel Tue, then Equator. We'll also be going into the next segment of this program. But before we get to that, I just want to put this up. This is where we'll be looking at shortly. And this is quite interesting. This is the map of Liberia, the situation on the border with Guinea. We'll be looking at that in depth. But before we get into that, gentlemen, it's fascinating. I want to put this map up again so our audience can have that vibe. You see the thing with the orange dotted in there, that particular land were owned by Liberia. It was owned by Liberia. But how come today we don't have that land where the French people took it away? We'll be having that discussion. So we take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be diving into the situation with the Guinea Liberian land situation. So here we go. A short break here.
In a world drowning in noise, where sound bites replace substance, there's a voice cutting through the chaos. Audience with the Lord Choloply conversation, where Liberians and global citizens tackle the questions we're afraid to ask. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. UK and Liberian time, and 9 p.m. Central European time, Audience with Lord Choloply. On the Bottom Line, Liberia explores the issues that keep you up at night. Democracy's future in the age of misinformation. Economic systems that serve people, not just profits. Technology reshaping our lives. Reconciliation, development, and the crisis of meaning in modern Liberia. No easy answers, no tribalism, just intellectual courage, genuine curiosity, and the willingness to wrestle with complexity together. This is for Liberians who refuse to shrink their thinking, who believe nuance is wisdom, who are ready to remember how to think, not just what to think. Audience with the Lord Choloply Show. Sunday, 8 p.m. Liberian time. Subscribe now. Join the conversation on the Bottom Line Liberia, because the questions that matter most are the ones we're brave enough to ask. Welcome to Your Story. Hosted by Francis Mano-Mensah. Join us each episode as we dive deep into the lives of inspiring guests, exploring the challenges and successes that have shaped their journeys. Discover their unique experiences, insights, and the powerful stories that define them. Tune in and be inspired. Coming soon on the Bottom Line Liberia.
Welcome back, audience with the Lord Choloply. Linford and my brother Mark. Liberia is an interesting country. My question to you guys, why is it up to today's date, we are in the third month of the situation with the Guinea border? The Liberian government refused to update the citizens of Liberia up to today's date. We keep hearing there is a silent diplomacy that is happening. So we'll be diving into it. But before we get to the updating part of the story, I just want to share something here for our audience. In the year 1821, there was the land that Liberia, the American Colonization Society purchased. That's the deed of the land. If you look at it keenly, the map below, you see in our map, the original map is there. Then when they draw another one within the original map, which is today referred to as Liberia. So that map is this one here. If you look at it keenly, this is the map of Liberia, but the one with the dotted orange thing in it, that is the original land that was purchased by the American Colonization Society from the indigenous people. Now, today, huge portion of that land was taken by the French, who live in Sierra Leone out of this because the Ivory Coast on the other side by the French, then Guinea at the top by the French. They took huge portion of that land. And today, the Guineans are coming back to chop more of that land. And our government have refused to update us on what is happening, but we keep hearing there's diplomacy. If you talk in Liberia, they'll go after you. Yeke Koluba were removed from office because he said something. Recent time, it was what? Amar Conan they started going after because he said something. Gentlemen, the discussion here is why the government not updating us. Brother Mark?
The government is not updating its citizen because it's an embarrassing situation that and you have your neighbor to invade your country because that is an invasion. Instead of staying on its side of the border and say that okay, this water, nobody going to harvest anything from the water anymore. But instead, they cross over the river and key into your country and 8 miles into your country. That means to say you are not a man enough, and then you go into other men around the town asking them to come to your rescue. So that's another thing you say you're taking diplomacy. Okay, taking diplomacy, you are not talking to your citizen, you are not updating them to say, oh, we are under the Palava Hut and talking about the issue as to how my friend or my brother can leave, how they call it, the room he occupy in my apartment. The only thing your people can hear is through how they call it, talking around the town from the more for the children or from some other adult are talking about it, like what we got from the ECOWAS Parliament through social media and like what we hear from Snow on some other network and stuff, some other revealing information that is coming from Snow that most Liberian believe that Snow was the only representation until of recent disclosure that there are other representation and Snow is being pointed out for not doing his job when there are other people on the team also that could have been doing, but I think he's the head of the team. So that is why fingers have been pointed at him. And the reason that fingers have been pointed at Snow, it goes way back with Joseph Barker and the Edwin Snow tape revelation. So, and I said it on this program. We were the first to say on this program, not I, but we were the first to say on this program that Snow going to be another red meat like Yeka Koluba. But they're going to use this, how they call this, Guinea something to go after Snow. You can trust me. They are going to go after Snow with everything they have, and it coming from the president, Joseph Boakai.
Wow. Linford, you saw the map. Then what Mark said, I think that Reverend Snow said something after that again at the Air Force Parliament. Well, you have seen the map. Guinea going to chop our land because if somebody's squatting on your property for 3 months, they have no intention of leaving, and you're not doing anything about it, that person could remain there permanently. So Lofa County, at the top of Lofa County, could be chopped up, given to Guinea again. After the French people have done Liberia or really damage by taking our land. And now the Guinean decide, say, no, we know that Liberia is so weak, so let's chop Liberia land. Let me put a map again. This was the original thing. If you look at it with the yellow thing, the orange thing in it, that was the original Liberia. When the French people chop it, they give it to Guinea and Ivory Coast. Today, Guinea still not satisfied. They say we still want more. And the place they're taking, that place was the place they're setting today is for Liberia. And they're coming for more. My dear brother, what say you, Linford?
Well, it makes me wonder if even this map that you are showing is in the archive of Liberia. Because
This act is in the U.S. State Department. This is the information that they have on Liberia. It was the sailor that signed on behalf of the American Colonization Society that bought this land. It still exists. It's in a library today.
Okay. So I think the government should, if the government of Liberia is actually pursuing diplomacy, in this case, they should be gathering some of this evidence. This is what I think what Dylan said today for me has taught me a lesson that whenever I have to go to court, I should not go there with feeling. Even if blood running from me, I will not show my blood to win case. I must carry evidence. So if the government is actually pursuing diplomacy in this thing, they should be gathering some of this evidence and take it to the UN or bring it to the ECOWAS, bring it to Monroe Union and display it. But the thing is, it's difficult to discuss this issue, and we are being strangled every time. It's like we are strangled because we don't know what we're talking. Not that we are stupid, that we don't know what to say, but we got no information. So we just giving our own feelings to it that the Guineans are all land. Is the land indeed for us or for Guinea? Let somebody go and prove it that this land is for Guinea or is not for Guinea. And this is one of the blunders that this government made to go after Yeke for what Yeke said. Yeke said he has evidence or he has his information told him that place that the Guineans are is for them. So instead of hunting Yeke down to remove him, all you do, say, look, you are one of us. If you got some evidence, bring it to us. Let's all work on it. You are a member of parliament, and then we can pursue the case. Okay? But now they made Yeke the villain. And then, in fact, they faked him, not the villain, but he became the victim. And then everybody in the whole Monroe Union basin now, they are feeling sorry for Yeke. Because look at what a parliament member from Nigeria said in the meeting, okay? That instead of the government going to pursue the case, they are going after their own lawmaker. Okay, the big question that everybody has been asking and nobody in the government can answer is, Yeke has been removed. You put your will against Yeke, you're removing. Has the Guinean soldiers left? No. So we still got a bigger problem at our hand when we were picking low-hanging fruits. So now, with all this time elapsing, it's dangerous. Our people are being displaced. Why is it that government, the same question you're asking me, I can't answer, so I'll ask the same question. Why is it that government is not informing us? What are they doing? There's not no society push business to hide it. This is all land. So anything happening, boy, let us know. Okay? There are influential Liberians outside of Liberia who can do something. But with no information, nobody will just get and go and carry your feeling maybe to the UN. They ask you, who are you? I'm a Liberian. What happened? The Guinea people say now all land. They land for you, yeah. What are you talking about? They no matter how much influence you got, you say, oh, we didn't get it, but they say now on the land. I know it's for you. So the government should do more than this. Or if they continue to waste time, this thing might escalate into bigger thing. It may not be war, but Liberia might end up losing portion of its land again to the Guineans. And who will come next? Maybe the Ivorians. We don't know. Or the Sierra Leoneans. We don't know. You are muted, Paul.
Yeah, this is the point that we all, because if the citizen not being updated, even if you're having some silent talk somewhere, the government have a way to say, okay, we'll have the information ministry, right? They dare to actually give something that the government is doing. Just give a briefing that, oh, at this point, blah, blah. For 3 months, there haven't been any summit with Mono River Union that will involve Ouattara, the Guinean president, Malabio, and Joseph Boakai to say what there's a conference on the situation. We only know that the day it happened, Malabio and Joseph Boakai flew to Guinea. That was it. Now, the communique that they had, the Liberia government, for some reason, refused to publish it. And that is have nothing to do with national security, to ease the tension. This is where we went for. Nothing as such. Fast forward. You have ECOWAS in the region, and ECOWAS have not been called to the table. They say silent diplomacy, but we don't know. Then you have the AU also there. There's nothing, 3 months that nothing have gone to the AU. The president was at the AU summit recently, nothing came on Liberia and Guinea situation. Then you have the United Nations, which I think the most useless organization on the planet Earth, but we have our old man, Louis Brown, sitting there on the Security Council. It have not been brought up. And 3 months, they put sitting on our land, and we keep hearing the silent diplomacy. So, but when we bap our eyes, pretty soon will be Christmas. Then we come into a year. And when someone squat in your house, if you don't do anything, they remain in your house forever. This is what is going on. So I want to play this thing where the Ghanaian, the Nigerian parliamentarians said to Snow, which was awakening call to all Liberians. Let me play this and then we'll chat on it.
By today, given the issues between Liberia and Guinea, everybody condemned, including this parliament. We issued a statement, and Liberia will come here and tell all stories and not mention it. There's no respect, no regard for the issues that have put our hearts on the line. We need to know what has happened. And if in the process of trying to find out the truth about the situation, a lawmaker spoke about it. The world is not a global village. What I'm saying here now, somebody in Canada will hear me in the next 2 seconds. If a member of parliament to couple up and say, this is a true position, that he believes that these territories belong to Guinea, what Liberia could do would be to spare the man from parliament. And we are here presenting a report. I don't know what the court Liberia has presented. I need to know what has happened. What is it that made them to withdraw? What is it that made them to expel somebody who was attempting to tell it? If we are not prepared to tell the truth and live by it, we better shut down what we are calling democracy and define it in our own languages and follow through. Thank you very much.
The guy said it all. ECOWAS parliament don't have a clue. Liberians don't have a clue. Only the government had get some secret or have because it's national security issue. But over 33 towns and villages, people have been affected for the whole thing. But we don't know what's going on. So our moms and dad, our sisters and brothers, they can't go to farming, they're scared. Nobody knows what's going on because government refused to update us. So who we're talking about it now could be listed on the government list because if you talk about it, it's a taboo.
And
Gentlemen.
there is a video,
Yeah, well,
also a follow-up video to the Edwin Snow interview with what they got in Santron. But this one, Edwin Snow was speaking in the parliament in Abuja. I got a video here.
You want to oh, okay.
Yeah, I can do it. I can do it quickly. But
Yeah,
let's
please.
be talking. Let me transfer it so I can do it.
So, brother, what Linford is doing, talk to us. I mean, this is getting scary.
yeah. Before the map that you show, I myself, a month into this thing, then I start to look for where can I find the map of Liberia before 1822 or since 1822. Then I went on the U.S. State Department website. That's a place that they have for maps. When you just type in maps, then the country that you want to look for, the map of that country will come up. And exactly the map that Paul showed is something similar like that, but even if possible, a little bit much bigger than that. So, and during the Napoleon era, I want to believe that was when France took a lot of portion of no, it was after the Napoleon era actually. So then France took a lot of portion of Liberia on the Ivory Coast side and on the Guinean side. But the thing here is that the government itself, like we had a weak case with the Summer 12 situation, is the same thing, the weak case this government had when it comes to the Guinea side. Because like Linford said, the map, first of all, if our ACA don't have this kind of information or this kind of document, then the best people when it comes to Liberia, there's no other country. The best people you can look to is America. Second to America will be Great Britain. If you want information on Liberia, if you want to know the origin of Liberia, first the United States of America, the second will be Great Britain. Any document you want. There's a group that came to Liberia and they were all what they call the Peace Corps. The Peace Corps is kind of a CIA connected organization that were all over Liberia, and they were now all over Liberia just doing relief services, but they were doing some sort of working documentation when it comes to Liberia. So the U.S. government, any town, any village you think about, the U.S. government know about them in Liberia. So if you need document to go and make up your case, to go and make your case to the Monetary Union or the ECOWAS or the AU or the United Nations, the best people for you to start cooking your book would be these two countries that I talked about for you to start cooking your book. Then the next thing is that having uh, Guinea on Liberian territory by now, even I will also try to first of all I said, oh yeah, the Lothian, but I will first of all start to hold the Lothian. For example, they're not putting pressure on their own son who is the president of the country. They kind of are laid back because oh he's our president, so let it slide. But we the rest of Liberia, I mean, uh, are not going to just take it easy. That is why we have to keep talking. Because if we left with the Lothian, they can go to Guinea, no problem. They don't mind losing half of Lothian country to Guinea. Many of them, I won't say all the Lothian, because some are speaking up, but many of them are in support, so that is why they are quiet. Had they been in somewhere in Nima County, by now you would have seen different kind of action. Had they been in some part of Maryland, but now you would have seen some different action from the citizen of Maryland, even before the government. So, and the Guineans know that the Lothian they are weak. So for that reason, they are taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, yeah. Linford, you
Yeah,
have something for us?
I got a video, and it was Edwin Snow, Senator Snow, who is the head of the Liberian delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, updating the Parliament about the situation in Liberia, and not only about this Guinea thing, but a few other things to talk about. I think the video should be around 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
The Russian. The issue of war and economic crime court is being established. There have been wars of war between the head of the economic crime court and the Ministry of Justice in implementing the laws. Yes, Honorable Fanta Conte rightly said there have been some concerns among Liberians that this could open a new wound so that we can foster reconciliation. But again, it has been a demand on for most of Liberians that have been affected by the war. So it's a catch-22 situation with the government that has been addressed. The issue of agriculture, I myself is a farmer, and yes, the issue of rainfall is affecting local farmers. Not much has been done by the government with regards funding um, farm owners. But again, because we, as Africans, we are very resilient people and we adapt to climate change, we are trying to find our way out via a way additional resources from the government. The issue of the appointment of the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, yes, the opposition community has been very concerned about that because the person who was appointed as chair of the Elections Commission was an active member of the ruling party. And he, matter of fact, he was one of those who supervised the tallying operations during the election and challenged the election commission. So they have been concerned. So Bosamba from Sierra Leone asked if they were against the law. It's not against the law, but it's perception. When someone is actively involved with one party, in the next minute you are the referee for the same process, then there is concern. the community levy that my colleague talked about from Ghana, I think in our report you read that we are current with our levy, but there's some legacy debts. And that's why the government has signed an MOU with the ECOWAS Commission to service our legacy debt while we remain current moving forward. The issue of the Guinean border of Liberia and the expulsion of a member of the House of Representatives, yes, there's still a little problem at the border. At the level of the Manu River Union, the presidents have been meeting and trying to resolve it. The House of Representatives, it is true that they expelled one of their members for stating that the land was owned by Guinea, and the member was expelled. In Liberia, in our political dispensation, we have two chambers. The House of Senate, where we consider the House of Elders, where we can freely debate issues and we don't expel people for talking freely, and the House of Representatives. So 3 of the people who signed a resolution to expel their colleague for freedom of speech are here, and maybe they'll be able to answer to it, but a lot of Liberians have condemned it, including the former president, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, have condemned it. And some of us also have condemned it, that for someone to express himself and be expelled by the legislature for freedom of expression, we see it as a major threat to our democracy. So maybe the 3 members here from the House of Representatives may be able to address it. There's also another issue where a talk show host was arrested, or tried and convicted in 48 hours by the Supreme Court. And according to the ruling, I think he insulted the mother of the Chief Justice, so he was arrested and jailed for 6 months also. So I will leave the issue with the expulsion of a member of the House of Representatives to the lawmaker who signed to expel the colleagues. I'm sure they will give reasons why they did it. 2 of them are here. Thank you.
Yes. The leave for muted.
So Senator Snow touched on 3 things, or a few things rather. But I think I remember about 3 of them or 4 of them. He touched on the appointment of the Elections Commission chairperson, who is also a member of the ruling party, and they're making him to be the referee. So it's like Arsenal going to play PSG, then you take my Ateta and say, man, you can be the ref today. So I know how that game will end. Then he also touched on the private key issue, which all has to do with law and the violation of law, people's rights. And then he touched on the expulsion of former Representative Yake Kolwa, and something else he touched on, Liberia's debt to the ECOWAS Parliament, and several other things he talked. But I will leave it with you to draw your own line and ask the question, and then we can discuss it.
Great. This is quite interesting. At least the senator was able to go back to Parliament to clarify, because people lashed on him of not saying what he meant to say. Now with the government, Mark said something here. Maybe Edwin Snow could be the next person on the line, because he pointed a finger of what he's talked about, the freedom of speech. So Perfect Key went to jail based on freedom of speech, and then Yeke said something, they removed him based on his freedom of speech. So where are we heading? This is where he's telling the ECOWAS that we're in serious trouble. Now the land issue that we're talking about today, they refuse to tell us what in the communique that they have from Guinea. We only heard what they say, but something in that communique that the government knows that we don't know. Have this government, so we cannot speculate. Maybe they sold the land, maybe, we don't know. So it just speculate until they can update the citizen of Liberia. What happened? Maybe what Yeke said is the truth. That's why they got rid of him. So until they can update us on a regular basis of how come these guys been sitting on our land for 3 solid months, something is cooking that the government know, and the citizen that we all Liberians should be calling upon our government to tell us why the people are still on our land. So this how far they gone with this so-called silent diplomacy that no one know about, that ECOWAS don't have a clue, that Monorail you don't have a clue, that OAU, where it's now called AU, don't have a clue, United Nations don't have a clue. Who are they talking to? So since they're not seeing anything, they communicate they got from Guinea. Yeah, they make it public that the citizen will know where how far it's gone. Brother Mark, this is my feeling on the situation. I think this government is cooking something they want us to eat, which is not right. What say you?
For me, the government is not cooking nothing. It's just a weak. It's like the case of, as I think previously stated, like the case of Samuel Tuer. It's a weak government that don't know how to cook their book and before going to ECOWAS. Even if you listen to Snow, even though Snow is from the opposition camp, but Snow make a very weak presentation to ECOWAS. His presentation to ECOWA was not passionate, was not emotional when it comes to our border dispute, when it comes to the human right that he's talking about, that the government put Prophet King J was not even, I didn't see any passion in it to even say, make me to be interested in the case. I'll be very honest with you. Maybe he trying to pin the government as being, how they call it, a weak government, or he trying to say that, oh yeah, the government's after, people that speak their their, their mind in the country. But the whole presentation of Snow, it doesn't add up to me, because even he, Snow, as a lawmaker going to ECOWAS, like the document that you and I, we have done research to be able to come up with as ordinary citizens. He's not as a lawmaker going to ECOWAS supposed to be able to be having some piece of map in his hand showing that, oh yeah, this is the map of Liberia, and Guinea have crossed from this end to this end, even have a bulletin, a blackboard to, or a board, so some cardboard to show where Guinea have violated, how they call this, invaded Liberia by crossing over, and the different diplomatic steps that Guinea should have taken. You understand? But instead of Guinea taking the diplomatic steps, it's Liberia taking the diplomatic steps and kind of baking Guinea to go back. But one thing he said that to move ECOWAS, that okay, Liberia had been a state that been to war before, and we don't want to open up old wound. I think that is something that's also interest ECOWAS. Say, but what if the Liberian decided that enough is enough? I think that's the only thing ECOWAS should act. Act on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we shall tend to agree with you, because country that been in 14 years of civil war is no country to joke with, and it could bring serious regional crisis over there. Remember, we're closer to Ivory Coast and Guinea. Anything sparkle will just go to fire. So if ECOWAS is sitting down supporting it, so they to ECOWAS, oh, Liberia handling it well. Now, I love what Mark said. If you have a weak government that don't communicate, this is where you get it. Therefore, come in. I'm
Yeah,
getting ready pissed
yeah.
with the
On
situation.
on the point where I know Mark is a little bit disappointed in Senator Snow's presentation, but Mark, I will differ with you a little bit. You see, this shouldn't be Snow's position unilaterally, even though he knows the fact, he knows what's happening, for him to go make the research and take maps and things and go and do a presentation. He should do it. But how does he do it? He should be briefed. He should be the senior talking about the government not talking. The government had not said anything. So every Snow goes there and stand as head of Liberian delegation to the parliament and begin to make presentation and show where Liberian demarcation with Guinea is and all these things. It will be his own feeling, his own decision, because he had not been mandated by the government to do so. You see, his hands
Okay.
are tied. He knows the fact. He knows the fact.
Okay,
We all
but
know the fact.
Berlin for. Then let us not base upon the same kind of how they call it, feelings for which they are holding Yeke Koluba responsible. That Yeke statement and Yeke did not act in the interest of the country. So he's no, I don't believe that he need. He's the number one diplomat to that particular how they call this, an institute from Liberia. He's the head of the team, and he been there for a very long time, and he should have some inside connection and influence. So if you are going on such error on behalf of your country, I believe that if any document was presented to you, you and your team, that is why every, how to call it, administrator have a team around him. You get
Yeah,
your team together.
but Mike, you just use a
Yeah,
keyword.
yeah.
He said you
I
believe
come
that
in.
if any document was presented to him, that's why he said now.
Yeah,
But
yeah, because
there
document
was
were
no
presented
document
to
presented
Snow.
to him.
No,
That's
no,
what I'm
no.
saying.
If you go back again, Snow, the question was asked to Snow, why is it the document presented to you? You went over the document, you couldn't go back, send them back to the team that presented the document, I mean, that prepared the document in order for you to go and make our case to ECOWAS or to the AU. Why you couldn't go back to the team, say, look, this thing it doesn't hold water or it doesn't have enough ingredient inside for me to go and present to ECWA. And then two, you yourself, you say, look, this is what I think we should be adding into this document, XYZ, in order for to present to ECWA. Then the two teams work together and you come to, how they call it, to do conclusion and say, okay, now we have the document that that's supposed to present to ECWA. But instead, you want to make the government to look bad. This is about Liberia. So you
I
accepted
don't know,
whatsoever that was
did you watch?
presented.
Did you watch the interview with Stanton and Snow?
No.
So if you watch that, Snow did vindicate himself. He said he made a simple point that Paul was just talking about the the freedom of speech thing. Snow said this government, if anything about them, whether it's in their own interest or not, when you opposition, when you say it, they'll go after you. And Snow is being very careful because he was speaker before in the same House of Representatives, and he was removed from his speakership. That's what they did to Kofa. And here we are in the same case. Yaka gave his opinion, and they went after him and expel him. Not even to remove him, but to expel him from his post. You see, so Snow,
bro, Snow is a law.
the interview that he had with Stanton, he made it clear. He said there were other members, there were three other people there. Taiwan was there, Moema Breeze, and this other guy, gentleman, I don't know his name.
That Reverend Ernest.
Yeah, Reverend Ernest. They were there, and they were, in fact, they are the one who all signed to remove Yeke. So that's why every Snow pushed the whole thing to them and said, well, three of the people who remove Yeke are here, and they can speak to that. But it's just unfortunate that I have not gotten a lot of video from Mema Breeze, of Mema Breeze. She yet talk over her, she doesn't make sense to me from where all the interviews she have been making. Unfortunately for me, that's my opinion. But you're right. Snow should have done better. But again, he is saying he got no information like us. So he could make the case. He could go and tell the ECOWAS. But from which point is he speaking? From his own understanding, or is it from what the government had told him to say? Remember that he's the head of the delegation. He doesn't go there as Edwin Snow. He goes there on behalf of the Liberian delegation. So if you're not giving any mandate to say anything.
Bro, Linford, if I was part of that team going to represent Liberia, right? The first place I would start with Liberia, I will come to when the settlers or the ACS came to acquire the portion of Liberia that they call Liberia today. That map, I will be making my research on if it is within the possession of the State Department. What influence can I use to have access to that map? And what were the areas that were given to the Ivory Coast and the Guinea? And at what time it was given to the Ivory Coast and the Guinea? And what documentation that can I
The
access?
Ministry of Information on behalf of the government should be doing that.
It's not Ministry of Information, it's a foreign ministry.
Foreign Affairs Minister.
It's a foreign ministry supposed to be doing that.
So, Brother Mark,
I can't remember the report. And even the chairman on the, how they call this, a Senate Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs, he the direct dealer. What he the direct dealer did to facilitate all this particular, how they call it, up and down. He's the chairman on the Committee on Foreign Affairs. So what work has he been putting in, for example, when it comes to this particular dispute?
Well, this is a situation that we face with today. The government, the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, is refusing to let out information they call a security reason, national security interest. So Snow cannot go out there and be the one
That's the point I'm
advocating
making.
for the government. The government said they have in diplomacy a silent one, but they have not engaged ECOWAS. If the government engaged ECOWAS, then Snow can come out with the document that you are talking about. Say, look, this is the land that was purchased by the American Colonization Society in 1821. That's when they bought that land before the settler got there. So this is the original land of, so this place is owned by Liberia. And I will put this map. This is the original deal that was signed in 1821 by a captain from the U.S. Navy that went on behalf of the Colonization Society and bought this land on behalf of the people today called Liberia. This is, if you look at this map carefully, you see where Africa Coast is sitting and you see Guinea, the dotted thing I put here, all of those portions were owned by Liberia in the original document, but the French people decided to take it out. You see, so if the Liberia government is making a case, then
Yeah,
Snow
but
have the right. Yeah,
Paul, let me ask you a little question.
yeah, go on.
If something was given to you to read out to the public, and you notice that a lot of how they call it, say, error within the words, will you go out to read that document to the public, or will you send it back to the secretary and say, "My man, yeah, the document not correct. Read
No,
the
no,
document."
the document not correct. It's not correct. The error in it. I won't read something that have error
Okay,
in it.
thank you. Then you go
What was
ahead.
the error?
But then
What was the error there?
based on what was it, the error? That's
Because
Yeah.
he read what was given him. There wasn't something that they agree on, but was not written in there. So he read what exactly they are giving him. So he couldn't go and do subtraction or addition. No. And I don't know how it works, whether he has
Like
it right.
it's the same thing that we're talking about the prosecutor today in this how they call it, the government side in Samuel to a case. Okay, their team didn't do a good work. They went with a weak case. So if you the chief prosecutor now, you the mayor heading the government side of the team, if you know that the team around you did not put together good documentation that you're going to argue your case in court, you'll need to go back again, tell your team, say, look, gentlemen, this is the document I need. I need the other document. I need that other document. I can't go to court with this kind of, how to call it, a case that we are compiled. There's no way. That's a responsibility also of the team men that went there. Maybe they just wanted to present a weaker case to ECWA, and that for which you have I think, or the Nigerian or the Ghanaian representation to ECWA saying that Labrador, there's nothing Labrador had presented to us, XYZ. That based upon that, I man is making that statement.
yeah, but he's right, because what the foreign ministry for Liberia by now should be in consultation with the ECOWAS Parliament. That look, what Guinea have done is wrong, and we need your intervention, but nothing is happening. So because the government is
The lawmaker had not called even the foreign minister, if I want to
exactly
believe.
so this is what everything is just silent. So we the citizens now are a bit concerned. The government not talking. The lawmakers were called back from recess to remove Yeke Koluba that they got big chunk of the money.
You from where we were Jill Linford from Nima County, I from West Sano County, Grange that Sano County.
I'm
How they
from
call
Bon
it? How
County.
many how
I'm
many
from Bon
Lutheran
County.
you from Bon
No,
County? How many Lutheran you found to be talking about this particular?
but no, the thing
I had
is,
how they call it?
I grew up in Jalata among Lofians, and I feel their pain. So
The
this is
people
where
not feeding their people not feeding their
no, they're
own
not.
pain, my
So
brother.
we're behind this platform. We have the right to push the government. But the thing is, this is what we're going to end the conversation. The government is weak, and the president of Republic of Liberia is weak, and his own town, Foya, is now being seized by the Guinean. So
Once you
So
start talking to book and see the president diplomacy, you show one video general say, I won't tell say diplomacy will get diplomacy change. My man.
look, the president is weak. Look, so I want us to have a little recommendation on this. What the government should do at this time. 3 months on, the Guineans are sitting there, they're going nowhere. And from our sources telling us that the Guinean also put up a structure where their military personnel are sleeping. So this guy come to your house, he decided to build something else there for he to sit. I mean, he's not going anywhere. This is getting serious, and our government is so silent. And the vice president came out and said they have people, special forces, that one person can go to a village and seize whole town. You get all these special forces and somebody can build something on your land. You can use that special forces to go there, not on the person's side, but your side, to move this person from your room. I just don't get it. This is the weakness of the government from my own perspective, from what I read, from what I'm seeing from journalists and other. I think the Liberian government is weak. They're scary, they're playing chicken. So they come up with this silly thing about silent diplomacy. I don't know what would be your conclusion on this. Let me start with Mark and then Linford.
I saw a clip of the vice president, and people were kind of going after the vice president. I think had they been a vice president, would have been having a different scenario by now. And Guinea, trust me, would have, I mean, kind of a back off in another way. And before coming to how they call it, my final statement, there was the other video that I watched also. Someone was saying that, oh yeah, the Guinean government are getting ready to deport some Liberians that are residing in Conakry or in Guinea for that matter. So I'm like, then the Guinean government, the head of the Guinean government is very stupid to take such decision. Maybe thinking that Liberia is a weak country, so he want to take that calculus decision because if you count the amount of Liberians living in Guinea compared to the amount of Guineans living in Liberia, it's 15 times the number, and that would be a very stupid calculus mistake he would be making because had I been in that position, you try that nonsense. The next thing, I grab 10,000 Guinean. I don't give a rat what ECOWAS or the AU say. And if they will leave by road or they will drown on sea, so be it. I have them sent back. Is that you have to show some sort of deterrent. And that is what Liberia even said willing to show to Guinea, that deterrence for which Guinea God have the audacity to be sitting on the Liberian soil today. Today. There's something called deterrence. Yeah. Be
Okay.
a military deterrent or financial deterrent or some civil deterrent. I mean, if we are not showing support, and Guinea will continue until Guinea could send 5,000 men across that border. What will we be doing? The people all over will be running, coming to how to call it, the next county before the
Okay.
rest of Liberia gather to say, oh yeah, we're going to go defend. No, it's just nonsensical and irritating.
It's nonsensical according to Mark. Well, Linford, you read history. We heard about the thing about the Mau Mau society in Kenya. When the British people occupied Kenya, there was silent diplomacy the Mau Mau used on the British people to run away. And our vice president said they get these special forces in Liberia that no one knows of, that who paid them, we don't have a clue. But one person from that force can go and capture a whole town. But then right in your own room, somebody sitting there, you cannot remove him. What say you, my brother?
I'll always say this, and people hate to hear it. Jeremiah Kun was a young boy, so picking he was selfish in the loop in Buchanan. So he, according to his own story, he was selfish to those special forces. So he said that I can imagination about the special forces, how they say they can disappear, they can die, you know. So he said living that fantasy, that fairy tale kind of thing, you know. Yeah, it's like the religious people. One put our rating a long time ago, they still believe in it and say that it will happen. But let me tell you one thing. For me, I will not put, no, when anything happened first, I used to get mad at the Guineans. But for me, I'm not putting almost feeling into this thing against the Guineans. Actually, Paul, if we the Liberian people were serious, we should be pressuring our government instead of
Exactly.
thinking even about the Guineans. No, when Boaka then went to Guinea, here in Malabio, something happened there that the Guineans are demanding. But Boaka then don't want to meet that demand, and they think they can be seeking all of means to dodge that demand. But there is something, no, what never happened, there is no story about it. They talking about there was some mining activity going on there, some kind of illegal mining activity, mining sand or some minerals. And if indeed that is the case, which I strongly believe is the case in that water, if that water is the border for us, we in Guinea, that border, if you want to go fishing, yes, you can fishing, you can swim to your side of the border. If you're able to swim, you can even cross and swim. The Guinean will not come after you. But when you go and begin to mine mineral or something from that water that is valuable, the Guineans will get concerned. If it had happened with the Guineans, we Liberians will get concerned. Even if we don't do anything, we don't do what the Guineans did, we would have shown some kind of sign. So nobody in their right mind will tell me that the Guineans, yeah, will go one day, they dream, they have a bad dream about us, then they say, let's go to Liberian land, Allah. Let me tell you, I can put my hand chapping for that, Allah. Something happened. But nobody is willing to tell us this thing happened. If you go to Guinea, all the journalists that can be going, if I were one of the journalists in Liberia, the best thing I would do, even if I can't cross to that border, I will go through Guinea and try to contact some of the people and talk to them. Something our government is hiding from us. If it is that mining activity, that's why the Guineans came. But what's so big about that mining thing that the Liberian government cannot give it up? If they seize your equipment, say, okay, gentlemen, is that equipment you want? You'll take it, but we're not going to mine again. Simple. Is that a diplomatic process?
I want to hold you there so you can expound on this.
Mm-hmm.
The visit of Malabio and President Boyka to Guinea, there was a communique that came out between the three nations. We saw them holding it in, they took pictures, they shake hands.
Mm-hmm.
Something in that document that they refused to share with their citizens, and the Guinean made it clear what's in that document. But our government, then that they don't want to tell us. So they keep saying we have in diplomacy, but they're not talking to ECOWAS, they're not talking to AU, they're not talking to UN, they're not having any conversation with Mano River Union to get a full country involved. There be a summit. Something in that document that the government knows. So I'm going to go back to this. The removal of Yeke Koruba. It said we just speculating now. Was Yeke right for what Yeke said? Because Yeke said he had survey on our land, people too, and the government refused to call him to give the survey that he had, but he rather remove him. Today they're not speaking 3 months. The Guineans have built not 10, but they built house. The houses that are hosting their military from our sources in Lofa County. So these people are not living, and our government not talking to us. So why can this government publish, they communicate? If a national security reason, why they can't say something to satisfy some of our requests? So Linfa, I'll just want you to flow on that something this government is hiding. And for those who just joining us, also I want to share the original deed of Liberia. Why you talking, Linfa? This is the original deed of Liberia. This deed, this land was purchased by the American Colonization Society in 1821 when they bought this land. Now, I want Linford to expand on it. Now, this map here is the original map. If you see the yellow dot, the orange dot in there, all that places will belong to Liberia. The French people took it. They gave it to Ivory Coast and they gave it to Guinea. And then Guinea decided today they want another portion of that land. Linford, I want you to expand on it because something is not right.
Okay, there is something. Some word people will keep using the word that the Guineans want to take our land. No, listen, I'll be like Yeke Kolua. The Guineans do not want to take our land. If the Guineans want to take our land, we get long border with Guinea, right? Now we need Solomba, which is weighing enough, coming down southeast. Yeah, There are several towns, even down to Ganta. Ganta, that I went way far play. Ganta, you can just stand to Liberia, you put your phone on the bridge. That's just small bridge, less than 10, 15 meters. Small bridge. That one dividing Ganta, or let's say Liberia and Guinea. Why the Guinean can't come? Why they not coming to Ganta to take our place? If they wanted Liberia, the Guineans do not want to take Liberia. There is something in that thing that the government don't want to tell us, and the way they're pushing us now, I think we'll begin to speculate. I think that mining thing, and you see, no, let me tell you, tribalism is killing our country. Tribalism is killing our country. Francis Newman is a kissy man, and he's the Minister of Internal Affairs, and he used to be immigration man. He's Internal Affairs Minister now. Okay, now Francis Newman is alleged, according to information, allegation, that he was doing some money in that place, which the Guineans did not like. They seized the equipment, they carry it, and they came back and start continuing the process. That made the Guineans say, okay, we seize your equipment, you're not stopping, we're coming there, we're coming across now. So not that the Guinean want our land. Look at the land. Guinea, they're not building any industry to say we can get space, so let's go take Liberia land. But advantage or stealing, they see stealing, they can do in Liberia. Our government saying they are doing Liberia.
Why couldn't Guinea stay on her side of the border and say that nobody go in the water? Anybody go in the water, we shoot at you. Why Guinea?
No, there were several warnings.
On her side of the border?
There were several warnings, according to information. There were several warnings. That's why they even took equipment.
After seizing equipment, why couldn't Guinea take the different steps that?
Okay, so after seizing the equipment, why the Liberian couldn't stop? So that's the argument. You're doing something, a common property. You're doing something. I say I don't like it. Don't do it. Okay. Then
I think that should the actual Guinea level coming into Liberia should have been the last step. Yeah,
that's
that
the last
should have been the last step.
That was the last step.
The Guinea go to the National Union? No. The Guinea go to the ECOWAS? No. The Guinea go to the AU? No. The Guinea go to the UN? No.
It didn't reach that point. It didn't reach that point. It was still between it. Yeah, it was still between it. No, okay, man. Let me get an example. You know, our horses are chasing each other, right? Then we got a common playground where our children can play. Okay, but your children are taking when they see the dead, they take it, they kind of pack it to my own play. Then we take it, then we put it back to your play. Then this time you're even push it to our play. You're taking it, you can put it on our post. You're waiting, we'll do. We're taking and carrying your house. You see, that's what happened.
But for a responsible father to act, will not behave that way. We tell his children to not take that and put it into your place.
Let me tell you, so, let's not blame Guinea in this thing here. We should be responsible enough as a country.
I understand that Liberia, but Liberia did wrong. I understand. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh yeah, the Liberian did not do wrong. There was an agreement, and that agreement need to be read to the Liberian people. Say, oh yeah, this is it. Because everything we say is just speculation that there was an agreement on the river. So now, Liberia government should have come out to calm her people down and say, look, we violated the agreement between we and our brother. We and the Guineans, we are brothers, okay? And we violated that. No matter what, since we violated that, we are going to maybe give into Guinea and let Guinea mine the equivalent of whatsoever was taken from that water. And then we go back to normality that nobody will mine.
I think that's what our government is doing. I think that's why the government is doing.
But then they should Well, gentlemen, I want to say that maybe Linford now. We're pushing it out tomorrow, but I'm pushing it out tomorrow, and it's 11 years.
No, I'm pushing it out, brother.
Yeah.
But
so so we going to conclude on this. But Mark, from your take of the situation with Samuel Tuwe, and then the Guinea situation that the government is not speaking to its citizen. What would be your recommendation, or what is your take on the whole thing? Just conclude only 2 minutes, and then Linford can give his own, so we can wrap up. Or before you give that, I just want to make the announcement. Next Sunday, we'll be having Dr. George in the house to talk more about ANC, about the level at which ANC is going. So it'll be an interesting conversation next Sunday. Dr. George the chairman for ANC USA, who is on Spoon Network regularly, will be joining us here on the audience with the Lord Choloply next Sunday. Just to make that, he just confirmed that with me a few minutes ago that he'll be joining the show too to talk about the ANC and the chances of Mr. Cummings in 2029. Mark, give her 2 minutes.
I want to just say that I think Linford was the first to come over that the government is not yet done with Samuel Tour. They are going to go after Samuel Tour from one case to another because this case was just about the $6.2 million, and there are other cases. If they want to, continue going after Samuel Tour, and if they want to continue having their how they call it, some sort of embarrassment over them because every time they go after Samuel Toure going to call the leg of the former president, George Weah, and according to the Constitution, you cannot do anything that George Weah or Samuel Toure acted upon the president order. So at the end of the day, it's going to be embarrassment from one embarrassment to another. And then to come into the issue of the Guinea border, I think Liberia should increase the pressure a little bit on the Guinea border through the diplomatic channel that they are using. Liberia always say, "Oh yeah, they got out there," but I wanted to bring in America. But why should we bring in America? You put your books together and you make a good presentation to ECOWAS. You got other people on the team. It's not just Snow. And the president also need to step up. President Baha, he's, I think, the oldest president, maybe between he and the president of Nigeria. So he should be able to talk to. He said he been, I mean, now he say he been around almost 40 years in politics and he got contact in this international arena. So he should be able to talk to some other people that will be able to calm the situation because if things get out of hand, it's gonna be very messy for the whole region, and that is something that we're not willing to let happen. And the Guinean also, I don't know who's on the side of the Guinean advising them when it comes to this Liberia issue. And one thing I think this guy in Guinea, because there are some opposition in Guinea, I think he's trying to show to the Guinean also because I never thought about this, right? And he trying to show to the Guinean, oh yeah, that he's a strong man, he's an iron man. Your local Liberia, if I can go into Liberia, that means nobody in Guinea dare me. Have you seen the guy's sister to go to the mosque before? Have you seen this guy family? How protected the guy family are? Guinea is on a different form of leadership. This guy going somewhere, even he's worse than his convoy is one of the most ridiculous convoy on the continent. So I think he tried to flex some muscle here externally that oh yeah he's an Iron Man but he forgetting to know that we have seen Iron Men in Africa that have been cut down by axe before.
Thank you.
I want to say
you hold Brother Mark conclusion, and I think my government did not communicating to the citizen is scary. If they sold the land to Guinea, let them let us know. They should just be bold enough to say, well, we are chicken, we sold the land. So we are aware then, but they can't be hiding the thing forever. 3 months on, we'll still be talking about it. Talk to me and give your recommendation regarding the Samuel Tour Equator and also what do you think the government should do now, 3 months on?
Well, I'll start from bottom to top, meaning I'll start with the Guinean topic that we just ended on. Look, listen, I think our government is not being fair to us. And if they continue on this trajectory, it's going to cause a lot of problems. Liberia might end up into war or through feeling that Guinea is taking advantage of us and we should do something. So we need to know the fact. And like I said before, there are a lot of Liberians in the diaspora with contacts, even at home with contacts, and they can intervene as well. But I don't know whether this government is willing to listen to opposition people, to other people who are not in this government, but they got contact also, who are influential, whether the government is willing to listen to them. And if the government is not even communicating with its own people internally, his own supporters, his own ministers, you think they will be able to listen to us others? So I think we're in a long haul until this government can change its mind towards approaching this issue and resolve it once and for all. Will be in a long haul. And I want to also believe that the Guineans are not just crazy enough or learn crazy to say we're crossing into Guinea. Got border with no Liberia, they got border with Mali, they got border with Ivory Coast. Why they can't cross into there and do something? Something happened, and our government start telling us. But they want to make it with society push business and our talking about tribalism killing our country because it's a kissing man who is alleged to have been carrying on the money activities, and which I know if it is true, the president here might be inside too, the president might be getting a court too, but it's embarrassing and they don't want to come to the public and say it, so they're hiding it. And if that's the case, I'm just hoping that it's not the case, but if that's the case, let the government go and even bow down to Dumbuya and say, no, listen, we beg you, whatever you want, we can do it. And then coming to the tour issue, the government blunder, and I hope the next time they take him, because I know they will say take tour. They will carry through it. So if they go in the next round with different case, let them do all their homework so that they can be embarrassed again. Because if they fail 2 times on tour will be numb. Okay? It will become numb to their lawsuit and other things. So I hope they put their books together well and Max and let them cook their book well. And when they go in, then their lawyers and prosecutors be well informed. Remember that these guys were in government for 6 years. These 12 people, they were in government for 6 years. And if at all, I'm using the word if at all they were corrupt, they were doing anything, they're stealing anything, they also knew the operation, when the operation in the hole, you can make some escape routes. So they also use some, they already prepare some escape routes as well. So you can't just go and grab them like that. So I hope they'll do their best the next time they go. And finally, I want to say that it was a pleasure being on the show tonight. And for those of you who joined us during the program or who even started with us, I want to say thank you. Our man Jima Kamara is in Istanbul, Turkey. We hope you're doing well, Jima, and he was watching from there. So thank you, Paul and Mark. It's good to be on the show tonight.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I want to say to our audience, we want to say thanks for being with us tonight. Thank you for joining the audience with the Lord Choloply. We're back here on next Sunday again. Next Sunday edition, we'll have Dr. George in the house to be talking about Mr. Cummings, the progress, and 2029. What are ANC doing? So we'll have the big man in the house on Sunday. So Linford, it was great having you here again once more. So on that note, to our audience, for joining us, say thank you. We're back here. Bottom line return on Tuesday and Friday. So the same time, 8 o'clock UK time, which is 9 o'clock Central European time, and 7 o'clock Liberian time on Tuesday and Friday. And then on Saturday, we get 7 o'clock program by our friends in Mensa. It's called My Story. And then on Sunday is the audience with the Lord Choloply. On that note, I want to say good night and have a fantastic week. Until we meet again next Sunday, God bless and see you all soon.
In a world drowning in noise, where sound bites replace substance, there's a voice cutting through the chaos. Audience with the Lord Choloply conversation, where Liberians and global citizens tackle the questions we're afraid to ask. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. UK and Liberian time, and 9 p.m. Central European time, audience with Lord Choloply. On The Bottom Line, Liberia explores the issues that keep you up at night. Democracy's future in the age of misinformation. Economic systems that serve people, not just profits. Technology reshaping our lives. Reconciliation, development, and the crisis of meaning in modern Liberia. No easy answers, no tribalism, just intellectual courage, genuine curiosity, and the willingness to wrestle with complexity together. This is for Liberians who refuse to shrink their thinking, who believe nuance is wisdom, who are ready to remember how to think, not just what to think. Audience with the Lord Choloply Show. Sunday, 8 p.m. Liberia.